Hello everybody, hope you're having another blessed day. In today's video we are back on the game of Wizard101 for yet another video as I showcase you guys now my gear setup for my level 180 max death wizard. Alright. In today's video I'll be showcasing guys both my attack setup and my support setup and show basically what gear I use to get these types of stats. Alright. So without further ado, let's get into the video and showcase real quick what the stats are on my aggro base build for my death. Alright. So jumping into the towns real quick. Alright, on my 180 drowned weaver deaths, always weaving the storm basically. Right, health wise, we're rocking 12,777. Nice little numbers right there. Alright, rocking 256 damage for death. Leaves 54 universal resist with 66 on the storm. 36 accuracy with a little bit extra to storm and myth. Then we're also going to be rocking 829 pierce. 667, which would be, 666 rounded up at the end. So 667% pierce, so blocking, with 52% pierce. You got at least 50% pierce on this all accounts. And 101 power pip, right, with ouch mastery, pip conversion, chop rating, we don't care. Alright, so overall, pretty solid build. Very strong aggro, of course, going from again that 237 from the last update from Waterloo up to 257, 20% more damage. Very nice to have. Alright, or 19 more, I guess. Now, how I would do this, you know the drill. We're running a lot of Abomination gear now. Alright, it was just a general upgrade from basically the Reaver gear up. So we do got the Abomination hat, we got the Abomination boots, we got the Abomination wand, Abomination amulet, Abomination ring, and the Abomination deck box. And you also know the drill. We do have the Damien raid robe, which you can also get from the Bone Motorist Pack Part 2, which you can get in the crown shop from spending 399 crowns every single time you try to get it. Use the exact same talents, same stats, it's a different item card. Right? And you also know that we're also going to be rocking the, basically, the Ghastly raid robe, amulet. I'm not going to be walking around with this wearing this as a robe. Alright. But basically this will always be your best option except for balance when it comes to your amulet option, because it does give you a basically skull based blade towards your skull with also the highest base resist. Alright. Just leagues above what you can craft here in Darkmoor. Alright. And then for my pet, alright, rocking Mighty Hunter again. I only focus with the Brontos on my main fire. Alright, so I don't have the set bonuses, which, if you had a set bonus, you could get this up to basically 260 damage if you had that. But I'm just picked a random pet, gave me basically a blade, we have the Gloomy Eye, and basically what I'll rock now is going to be Quint damage, right? Giving up the resist. If I wanted to, I could pop on, I may have a triple double here somewhere, like my triple double here. See, because resist goes up to 71 universal resist to all skulls, but then my damage drops to 248, still really nice. But since I know if I'm in this build, I'm going more aggro, I would rather still watch where you at. Basically, the Quint damage. Basically, lose that extra, what is it, 17 resist for the more, basically 8 damage. Alright. Which means it's in a good ratio, but it's pretty nice overall. We don't do more damage. Alright. And basically, our deck setup fixes up just a little bit. Alright. But this is basically what I would run most of the time. Very weird setup for sure. Alright, of course, just depending on what I need to be doing. If I'm just farming the lower level areas, of course, we can just first turn into the Frenzy. But if I'm going to be farming someplace higher up, a lot of times I will Frenzy into a Scarecrow for heal, or maybe I'll basically do an Epic into one of these. Maybe I just say it for, maybe I need to heal for Kululu, which I do like having Lulu now. But the big issue is, let's look at the damage drop-off, These are basically the exact same amount of pips. This is supposed to be a shadow spell, it's not. But there's not really any reason to use Call of Cthulhu anymore, alright? 315 versus 440, alright? I'm losing 125 damage just off of the base hit before even talking the calculations crit, or that 256 damage bonus. So it's probably almost 1,000 damage I'm losing between these two spells, which overall makes it not really worth it, but one does give you some heal back, which is pretty nice. Right? And of course, I could always swap out basically one of those hits with the enchant for basically blade and a wand hit. Just whatever your preference would be. Right? So that's basically the main damage setup for the def account. And of course, we got to switch over to more of our resist base, which, not going to be a lot of chains going on, but I think this is kind of be the best kind of setup you can rock it. All right. Of course, rocking that Dworgen robe, all right, hat. And then we're going to run into now a little bit different. We're rocking the hide suit, all right, which is the tier 2 version of basically the robe you can get here in Darkmoor, which is weird because typically you don't use the robes in Darkmoor at all, because a lot of times you're just a lot less damage than you get from like the Daemon robe, like 4% less damage for here on my fire count, which hopping over to here, like this has 28 damage versus I believe was like 33 I have on here. Yeah, so I'm losing 5 damage across these robes right now, so not typically worth it. But the big difference, you're looking at those health. Almost 900 more health. And the resist, extra 2 resist is not bad either. All right, not bad at all. All right, so that's why we're rocking this here. And then similarly, we're also rocking the high stompers, which compared them to the boots, we do lose health. All right, but we gain 5 resist, so it evens out for sure. All right, so 8 basically, 138 health versus 5 resist. I'll take that for sure. All right. And then, kind of stuff from here, we rock still the abomination setups. We don't really need, we're not going full like resist, and I'm not going to be rocking like your like life mastery ambulance. I'm not going to be rocking like the side robots. I don't need to. As long as it has some form of block, we basically are keeping it. All right, just like the skin abomination. Do have that nice amulet on, the nice health jewels on there too, which makes it really good to use. We keep that on there, which that is one we could always swap out maybe in the future. Maybe when a rock, basically, I think there's that higher flat, like 135, like mass hex. Basically, it was a mass hex like amulet you can get in the bazaar. I may be grabbing those in the future and just toss them on just for the heck of it. Right, and then we also have the Scale Abomination right there. The pet is going to be, of course, our double damage full cast hex, which this one also got mighty and also another curse jewel, or I think either curse or hex card, and I added on there a Stormblade item card because I'm typically going to be buffing the storm anyways. Mount doesn't matter. Hide box is also where it's at with the extra health. And the setup for basically the deck. Basically going to have basically 2 feints with one with a potent. The sharp for our storm blades to sharpen them, and also use the regular, and then mass feint for basically our setup. All right. So with that in mind, that's going to do it for today's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, down in the comment section, there's other videos you want to see on this channel, or other things Wizard101 related you want to see, or you just want to comment down below what your own setups for def would be. Toss them down below. I would love to see them, and you never know, may pop up as a future video in the future. Now, with that in mind, I hope this week is blessed, and I'll see you all again in the next episode. With that in mind, I'm out.